Thank you. I think that we need to pass this resolution specifically for a couple of reasons. First off, the reason why SAC is reaching out to us in this manner, as in a resolution rather than going through BPC and CSC, is because they want to continue the collaboration that they have started with the Assembly. Think about that, with the Assembly from the start of this year. And the resolution symbolizes more than just giving away $1,700. I'm sure they could get it through BPC or CSC. It symbolizes a commitment to working together and creating a collaborative environment on campus. That's what this is about. Saying no to this, and this is why SAC has an ex officio representative. This is why they send someone every day. Not everyone sends someone to the Michigan Student Assembly. They have put themselves out there time and time again, working with us in Go Blue Beat OSU, with the Athletic Relations Select Committee, sending with a Block M, sending Adam every week to voice his constituency to the Michigan Student Assembly. That's why he's here, and he brought this resolution here because he wants us to work together. This is the central student government. This is where these ideas have to be sort of pushed together in one big pot. And I think that by passing up on this opportunity to work together through this resolution, we are passing up on more than just telling them to go through BPC and get $1,700. We're passing up on a partnership that we can't pass up on. Go Blue Beat OSU doesn't happen without SAC. The Block M doesn't happen without SAC. Students don't get their money's worth from MSA without the spirit of collaboration and the culture of collaboration that we have to start in this room, that we've started this year, and that we have to continue going forward. And this is why this has to pass. Thank
you. Benson?
Sure. I'll direct everyone's attention to line 18. If this passes, the money will go into the MSA sponsored events account. First, of course, I support SAC and the athletes, but being a procedure guy, noting that, then also going down to the second resolve clause, and remembering what the president of SAC said earlier, all aspects of the event sponsorship be carried out in accordance with the provisions set forth in Article 6 of the compiled code. According to that article, planning, implementation, every phase has to include MSA's involvement in sponsorship. Therefore, it can't happen. This resolution is at best out of order, truthfully.
Yield for a question?
In moment. I really respect this, but at the same point, I think any organization with over 400 members can have, for the most part, an ex officio. It's great that SAC does. It's great to hear issues that relate to SAC and athletes in general. That's the right of an ex officio member, an organization with one. However, with this is bypassing the BPC process. And I think that an organization could come to BPC and then ask MSA for help with individuals, but I think this should go through BPC. I question how in order this is. Is Mr. Raymond speaking on the other side?
Yes.
Then I'm not able, sorry, I can't see.
For a question?
Oh, sure, for a question.
With those two concerns in mind, the issue you have with the first resolve clause and the issue you have with the second resolve clause, did you ever bring those concerns up over the past week with any of the authors of the resolution, including myself?
Nope. Nor, while that is certainly a thing to do, at the same point, it's incumbent on the authors, and I look forward to hearing from you when you speak, as well as others, as to why I'm wrong on that. But as I understand it...
Time, thank you. Keller.
To answer a question about whether or not this resolution is in order, in terms of the second resolve clause, it actually does. It does follow the code. As an MSA representative, I've been involved in every stage of planning of MOCROC. I've been at every executive board meeting where decisions are made. Unfortunately, I haven't been able to open it up to quite as much general MSA participation. This is sort of a stepping stone or a building block to get that to happen in the future. In terms of bypassing BPC, CSC, you can blame that on me. You can blame that on SAC. Neither of which have ever requested BPC or CSC funding before. but quite frankly, receiving BPC CSC funding for Mock Rock, which is a week from today, is not possible. And although there are members within that think it is possible, it isn't. So basically, being appointed to this position as the ex officio, this is kind of my job to try and strengthen this this link between the two organizations. SAC is the governing body of student athletes. MSA is the governing body of the students as a whole. And quite frankly, we look at all these student orgs that have requested funding and received funding from BPC and CSC, and absolutely none of them have an ex officio on MSA. So SAC is slightly different than all of these groups that applied and either did or did not receive funding they requested. Therefore, this resolution is not only in order, but it's reasonable, it's rational, and I urge you at least to vote to.
Point of parliamentary inquiry. Would a motion be in order?
You have the floor.
I'm sorry?
Yes.
I move that the Assembly thank and recognize SAC and Representative Keller for their service and dedication to the university community.
Yeah.
It's not in order?
Nope. Thanks.
It doesn't do anything.
My turn.
Bajaj, you have 2 minutes.
Okay, so as much as it, hurts me to have to speak against this, I do enjoy Mock Rock a lot. People who've been planning it for years are good friends of mine. Mr. Sears is a good friend of mine. Mr. Keller's a good man. It's a great event. The fact of the matter is that SAC is a voluntary student organization. We're setting a dangerous precedent here and of course, like Jim says, we shouldn't go by precedents, but the fact is that by granting money in this manner, it's true, not all student organizations over 400 students have ex officios, but they could, they choose not to. So if this becomes the precedent, then what's to stop every other student organization over 400 members, K-Grams, ISA, any other council, ICC, IFC, to come here and request money from MSA that way? Are we going to say because they have ex officios that we should grant all of that money this way, and then that just is going to make our funding process completely unnecessary, because those are the organizations that apply the most and get some of the most money. It's not that I don't appreciate the ex officio representation. I think it's important. I think a lot of it has to do with dissemination of information and keeping each side in the know. But I don't think that it should be grounds for a funding exemption. I just think that that's loosening our reins too much, and a VSO, there's a process for how to do it. It's through BPC and CSC. We work on a reimbursement basis, so even if they acquire funding and they're not able to get it up front, they'll still be reimbursed. I don't see how that's an issue, and I really, like I said, I really do love SAC. I know I don't have a vote on this, but as the chief financial officer of this assembly, if my words mean anything, I would say that this is out of order.
Thank you.
Speaker, you for a question?
Yes.
You alluded to the fact that this would be sort of out of the 2 seconds left. I'm sorry.
Thanks.
Point of information.
Yeah.
Was there anything to prevent SAC from applying to BPC at a further cycle this semester?
I'm going to yield to Todd.
No, there is not.
All right.
And the next deadline is February 19th.
I'd like to move to add Representative Oltein to the prior quorum call.
There's been a motion? Second. Are there any objections? Seeing none, we have
Sure. I will further move to add Representative Hall to the prior quorum call.
there's been a motion to add Mr. Hull. Is there a second?
Second.
Any objections? Seeing none, he's been added. Great, thank you. Next, we have Raymond, 2 minutes.
All right, thank you. In regard to some of Vishal's concerns about us sort of loosening our purse strings when it comes to student organizations, at least personally, I don't see SAC as a student org. I see it as a student government. It represents over 600 athletes on campus, and it serves as their voice. I'm sorry?
750.
750. And it serves as their voice. And the fact that they do have an ex officio on MSA, per the compiled code or our Constitution, is completely fair. And organizations like ISO or other organizations with over 400 members have that right. They simply choose not to exercise it.